that was a bit of a whiff in that fight, right? And, you know, that's the kind of moment where the shot calling needs to be a little bit crisper for DNS if they're going to win this one, as they will pick first pick here because they now have right of first selection here on game 2 after the loss. Rofs, R-O-F-S. And so D+ choose blue side. So here we go again. A lot obviously removed in terms of 80 carry power. The Yunara and the Corki gone, the Ryze is gone, but the Orianna, the Azir, the Malphite, if these teams still think it's viable. I'm kind of feeling a little bit low on it after what we've seen. I'm a little bit underwhelmed.
Yeah, and the biggest thing for me, you know, the Ambessa was such a huge powerhouse alongside of the Lulu, but just the way that Lucid played it as well was really top tier. So I feel like maybe in the future we're going to have this be permabanned against D+. And it's not the first time that this has happened to this team where it's like, now we see Kiana's banned against them all the time. Now LeBlanc's coming out. In the past with Canyon and stuff, that roster, we had like Taliyah banned all the time against them because they could play at mid-jungle.
Kiana has not been played this tournament, and LeBlanc has been played by one player this tournament. Jace has been banned by everyone, so that one's not surprising, but yeah, I feel like Lucid was definitely one of the biggest winners of the everyone could be a jungler, the final patch of 2025 patch. As Akali will be banned after banning the Azir and the Orianna, so really saying we will pick Sylas if you pick Malphite here. And it is going to be the Jarvan that was banned the last game around for Pyosik, who had a good early game and just wasn't able to impact some of the team fights later on. And his damage number was really just a symptom of their inability to fight, as you pointed out in the post-game breakdown. So what are we going to see here? I mean, when I think of an Akali ban, I think of Azir primarily. And he was already banned, though, instead. So what is Showmaker cooking? Is the real question.
Yeah, I mean, Closer's very good at the champ, so might be a little bit of targeting as well. In terms of stuff we have seen that has not been, you know, stuff like Ryze, Azir, Orianna. You mentioned the Sylas already, the LeBlanc. We saw it once, it was banned. We'll have to see just how deep they are going to go in their champion pools with Taliyah and Ryze gone now.
Yeah, this, okay, they're going to shift over to Malphite here. I was going to say, Xin Zhao's a little bit boring, a little bit slow in this meta. Still strong, but certainly not as strong as he was before, because the pace of the game is so fast. You need something that's a little bit more reliable engage-wise. Having a frontline doesn't necessarily do as much for you, with 80 carries doing so much damage right now. As Closer just going to slam the Syndra after they lock in the Scion, so kind of a little bit up in the air what this draft does. It has hard single-target engage, but it doesn't have great synergy in how it sets it up. And Varus is going to be pretty far away from all of that.
Yeah, I don't think they're too worried about that at all, as Gwen, something we've seen many a time into Scion, is going to be picked up here, and does feel like one of the champions that can get a good amount of usage out of some of the new items. So very curious to see if maybe this is the game where Xiu carries.
Yeah, let's see what the build is going to be. There's been some experimentation with items even like Dusk and Dawn for Gwen. That was really popular at the very beginning of the patch, but has fallen off a little bit in solo queue. We'll see what his game plan is going to be. This is pro, so it's a little different. As now you take away the Ezreal, which has been relatively safe into Varus thus far, and is just one of the safest picks on the patch in general, even though he doesn't have the same early spikes a lot of other 80 carries. The Bard is taken away, so basically saying we do not want to deal with double range here with the pick that we are looking for. And I mean, for Ductom here, the Corki is gone, the Yunara is gone, the Zeri kind of fits the bill here in terms of, you know, scaling damage. I think they need something that's going to scale incredibly well. Sivir would have also worked. They have the Jarvan on their side, because the Syndra just isn't going to have the same damage output as a lot of other mid laners would have. So Ductom is going to be the main damage there, because their top laner is a Scion.
Closer's not really a Syndra player in my mind. When I was thinking about what he would pick, I was thinking maybe Ahri, which could have had a similar issue where it's not a lot of consistent damage, it's a lot of burst, it's a lot of setup, but instead he went for Syndra, which really threw me for a curveball. Do they ban Braum here? No, it's just going to be the Nico.
Yeah, Nico's still available, even though it went super deep in this draft. Braum hasn't seen play in pro, I think just because even though he's a really oppressive champion, solo queue, he's not as easy to use as an engage tool in pro games. As you know, we've all seen what happened with BDD when we looked this in relatively recently. I would love to see Echo.
Oh.
That's really fun. It's really strong. It's Showmaker. It's happening.
Yeah, so Echo, one of the long-time counters to Syndra because she presses R and then you press R, and it gets totally negated. Echo, we've been seeing a lot of interesting builds with also Dusk and Dawn, where he can just EQ it, and it does an insane amount of burst damage.
Yeah, the burst is real. The CC setup is incredibly strong as well, and the survivability is off the charts in the mid lane compared to what you'd have in terms of itemization in jungle, and with the mid quest as well, getting tier 3 boots for free and an additional recall on top of your already strong safe side lane. And you've got the Xin Zhao on your corner, you've got the Gwen on your side. They can play the map so incredibly well, which is why I like this Pantheon here as a final lock-in here for life, and help a little bit in terms of dealing with these side lanes. They opt for the Braum instead, though. This will be the first time we see it here at LCK Cup 2026. It's one of the strongest Braum lanes you could ever ask for. Level 1 is incredible, but it's blind. So you can pick the Karma here. You abandoned the Nico, you took the Bard away, but the pushing lane support is still available here for Career. Looking to opt for more engage instead, though, potentially with this Rakan. I think with the Xin Zhao as primary engage and really your only form of engage, it's a tough ask to say Karma will be enough, but if you just win the lane hard enough and have stronger side lanes, they could have played through it. But look for something a little bit safer here in terms of setting up team fights. They will have to get through the front line of that Jarvan and Sion to get to the Ashe there at the end. We'll see what build we see from Ashe as well. We've seen a lot of different techings. We've even seen like Essence Reaver come back a little bit on Ashe. Vandal Pipes, you gotta imagine, is for my man Braum in the bottom lane. It's time to pull him out.
Yeah, Bard's not the only one who can play the pipes, and neither is Nautilus in the jungle. We've been seeing a lot of usage out of that item on specific champions.
I think, Valdez, since I joined the LCK, this is the first game of Echo that I have. It's definitely the first game I've commentated, I want to say. It has been a really long time since we've seen Echo here. This is not the LCK, it's the LCK Cup, but still. Like, I am really excited about this. We've heard rumblings of this. We've heard rumors of this.
I think Faker was the last one to play it, which was a long time ago. Like, that feels like 5 years ago.
I want to say there was like a brief period where maybe Canyon played it once in my first year of LCK when AP Jungle was a little bit of a thing, when we had like Talia Jungle and Lilia was still strong. Lilia's still strong right now, by the way. We haven't seen her yet in the LCK, but I digress. I'm loving this draft here, 4D+. I think this draft is very situational, very single target blow with the Ashe, the Syndra, the Jarvan here. It's very similar to what they did in game 1. Didn't work out then. Maybe this time it'll be a different story.
Gotta put it all together. Let's hop into game 2. Here we go. Match 5, game 2. Already almost halfway through the first week of LCK Cup. And Showmaker's playing Echo. Hasn't taken very long. It's also Closer playing Syndra, as we're trying to do a nice, strong level 1 here with the Ashe Braum, who should almost always win these. As the Sun will eventually come in onto Career, and he's just going to heal to try to get rid of some of that damage.
Yeah, we see heal used at level 1 almost every game. Right now, it's just so important to get control of that wave and get level 2. And after you get stunned like that, you want to get some of that health back and try to get to the wave, and they're not getting in there.
And the flash will come in. They're looking for the stun on the smash. He's going to flash away, just showing immense respect. Did not want to take much more damage from that, so he'll trade his summoner for it anyway. Luckily, none of these minions have died yet, so Smash won't be denied too many of them, even though he has been denied access to this lane.
Yeah, he does have teleport as well, knowing how tough this lane is going to be to play out. That's going to be really nice for him. Taking barrier here, not that relevant. Taking cleanse could have been, but he's just going to have to watch his positioning. As, yeah.
Oohs and ahs from the crowd as they watch Echo being played.
Yes. Echo was definitely one of my favorite characters in Arcane. Gotta say it. Echo from Arcane.
Yeah.
Bat chest. It's old meme, but you can still say it.
There was someone in the crowd yesterday that was like, we're just fans of Arcane. Like, we don't even know much about League. We're just here. Please play the Arcane champs. And I don't think they did.
Yeah, not as much as when Vi suddenly became popular around the same time as -1 here for Shu in this matchup so far. I'm really curious to see what build he's going to go for, because we have just been seeing a little bit of Riftmaker and Nashor's Tooth and boring, normal Gwen stuff, but some messing around with some of the other AP items right now as well. See if he does end up pulling out Dusk and Dawn or the Forbidden Spellblade. Or not, why did I say Spellblade? Gunblade. It's kind of a Spellblade.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of is. I don't know if it's actually infused with magic, though. You know?
Yeah, it just doesn't have a Spellblade effect. You know, it's not a Sheen item. Not a Sheen item, so.
You got to be careful with what names you use for stuff when everything's got a keyword nowadays. As the slows are coming in, they're looking for Smash. He doesn't have a splash.
Too.
And Pyosik is here. There
Lucid!
He is, but Lucid pops out of the bush. And Pyosik is pretty late, actually, to the party, as First Blood will go over to Rakan. Smash should be in some trouble here as the drag will get the kill, but now Pyosik might go down as the TP is coming in.
Showmaker
and Showmaker says, give me that kill right now. And they will do exactly that. Definitely the smart thing to do. And that's going to be 2 for 1 here in favor of D plus Kia.
And they can actually send Smash mid to catch this wave. This will, of course, kind of mess up a little bit some of the quest, but it's not going to matter too much in the short term compared to what they get or too much in the long term compared to the lose in the short term here to patch the hole, as Showmaker will push the wave in bottom lane and then they'll swap back. So this ends up being a pretty big win here for D+. Very aggressive teleport, but I think allowed because Smash did opt for the summoner himself there in the bottom lane. And we were kind of left in the dark by our observing team on that one, but it really does. It's one of those moments where it feels cinematic, and it's the exact feeling that DNS had at that moment where they thought this is a shoe-in.
Yeah.
And then out pops Lucid. So taking a look at this with full vision, he was actually backing here. Sees the all-in coming through. They get the knock-up onto Duck Dom. He bides his time. Has double buff here. And then Smash lives for so long. The slows are so frustrating. Life gets flashed on. Smash is dead, but Showmaker knows that if he buys enough time here, his teleport will be able to get the kill back onto Pyosik. And there's nothing Duck Dom can offer here in terms of peel. So Pyosik just goes down. Closer tries his best to get maximum value out of this in mid, but because of the teleport on the Varus, they don't get as much as they would have liked.
You got a heal aggressive heal coming on in, but it's not going to amount to too much as Smash and Career still struggling to try to farm. Although it looks that way, he's still ahead on farm just slightly. So going to be pretty nice, and every single bit of damage they can get into them is going to make it much more annoying for Smash and Career. As Career will have to hit those Gleaming Quills as much as possible.
You know what's interesting is that we see in Pro very few champions picking not teleport in the top lane. Like, you think, oh, Gwen is so good with that, so I might have to hold my thought on this before we get too deep, because we might have a scuffle over this dragon. Looking like we're going to see a group here for Smash and Career towards said dragon. Showmaker does have his ultimate available.
It reminds me of a certain fight our desk just broke down.
Yeah, it's going to be a similar situation here, you have to imagine.
But in fact, both sides just kind of back away and elect not to take the risk.
Showmaker, in fact, did not skill his ultimate.
Yeah. You got to wait and not show it, and then right at the last moment you skill it up and use it. And can make things very annoying to keep your opponents guessing.
So that's the wise choice. And they do back away. So what I was going to say is, you think, oh, Gwen, she could win this lane even harder if she has Ghost or Ignite. But the trade-off, when you're already winning the lane by default because you're laning into a Scion, is that you lose a massive shield. And that shield that he's going to get later on is going to be incredibly powerful in team fights. So what he could have done was try to opt for the short term, but he is definitely playing for long term here, as he is going to potentially have to use his other summoner now.
Yeah, Shu going for the flash this time around. He's not going to get stunned up and actually just dashes away. I almost feel like Dudu went a little, like a slight bit too early to push him away and kind of gave it away. As Duck Dom double summoner just kind of smashing both of those at the same time, trying to flash away from the chains of corruption. Definitely the right play, although he didn't have to use his barrier.
Yeah, I didn't really end up blocking anything, but Perhaps just a bit of a panic there. Lucid is going to steal these Raptors away with the mid-prio they have. Showmaker really controlling this lane quite aggressively, even though the CS is dead even. Allows moves like this to be made. This bottom lane, every time we look at it, we're like, well, the Ashe Braum was great at level 1. And it is otherwise just now kind of getting chunked out. The sustain that Career can offer here is quite helpful. And without the flash there for Duckdom, and he doesn't have his own ult defensively, they really have to play very carefully. Without vision of where the Xin Zhao is. It's on the other side of the map. Okay, Dudu is in trouble.
Yeah, he just barely got his ult back, and there he goes. Is going to dash away, essentially, like the train he is. And Dudu says, well, nothing I can do here. Already down almost, 15 CS here, especially after Xiu gets this wave, so.
And Xiu he got the first plate, and we'll get a second one as soon as that wave crashes. And so this is a pretty significant lead in terms of top quest progression for Xiu, which matters a lot for Gwen, who's already about a third of a level ahead here. And once she gets ahead and starts pushing the side lanes, there isn't a great answer here for the side of DNS. Maybe Duckdom getting an arrow. His closer's not going to get stunned.
Yeah, and Showmaker with that extra movement speed is just going to make things even more annoying for the Syndra. Mentioned the ult, the way the ults interact with each other, but at the same time, Showmaker on the Echo, once you get that combo in, you're just so fast, and it's very difficult for Syndra to do much except press R, which also doesn't work in Echo. So you're just kind of sitting there farming with no kill pressure.
It is very annoying as closer here, just trying to get your splinters in. But normally Syndra, in most matchups, just kind of wins by default if you play it perfectly. But in this matchup, it's a little bit tougher to do so. And now we're seeing Pyosik come down to the bottom lane here, but look where the lane is set up. It's very difficult to actually dive. He is going to be unseen, it looks like here. But, it's a Rakan, and Smash has flash, and he's basically under turret. So he's just going to chill here while Lucid's like, all right, grubbing it up. He's still waiting. Small wronging.
The long game here, as eventually they're going to get this combo done onto Career. Very nicely layered, as even able to interrupt with the Cataclysm is Pyosik. So they do get that kill down. As you mentioned, a lot of time spent, as now once again the 1v1 Xiu is making Dudu's life hell.
They took so much damage on the trade back. It's kind of difficult to start Dragon here. But I think they might have needed to do something like that, even though Showmaker has prio in mid, because that kill alone isn't enough. Career doesn't flash. That was a really well-played setup there for Pyosik. They set up the arrow, like, okay, this Rakan is super slippery, but if we play this just right, we should be able to get the kill. They also get the flash out of Smash. So a ton of value in terms of that there on the bottom side, but they don't secure Dragon. And so leaves you wondering, is it enough? As Grubs went over to this Gwen, who is such a problem already. So watch this again. Pyosik plays this incredibly well. Career steps forward, gets hit by the flag and drag into the arrow, and then watch this turn on the Cataclysm.
Yeah.
Really well played. Secures the kill there and gets the flash out of Smash.
Yeah, it's nicely done, but as you mentioned, not sure if worth. Not able to get the Dragon. And Lucid himself, I saw him moving up towards the top side of the map. I thought maybe looking to put pressure onto Dudu. Did finish his first item, the Sundered Sky, so is going to be pretty strong right now, the Xin Zhao. Although Pyosik just finished his as well. We do have the Dusk and Dawn
Dusk and Dawn, double on hit. Get ready to wind it up. And we have seen, that kill from Showmaker on the bottom lane, but we haven't seen Teamfight Echo just yet. He still hasn't skilled his ultimate. He's waiting for that specific moment. And it might be coming up very soon.
Yeah, they're in a lot of trouble here. Look at this. Pyosik going for the follow-up gank as Duckdom gets pretty low. And Lucid's like, well, sorry, guys. I can't help you out. Double kill for Pyosik. This time showing up for the follow-up.
Knowing that there's
able to do in game one.
No flash for Smash. Career tries his best to peel with his ultimate there. But really not enough he can do. And that's just a free Dragon. Showmaker didn't have teleport and did not have enough control to rotate over. It was a very quick call from Pyosik, who's been very decisive throughout this series, despite losing in game one. Gets onto Career, gets his flash, and then it's a free Cataclysm on the double because he knows, okay, there's no flash on the Rakan. And if he tries to peel, it's not going to be enough. There's no flash on the Varus. 2 kills go over, and Lucid can only just watch on. Nothing he could do there.
And the Varus not very much going to enjoy his time anywhere near the Jarvan. As you mentioned, eventually he'll just be out of range. He is going lethality, which makes a lot of sense into this. They have the damage to deal with Sion. They don't need the Varus. So now, trying to invade the enemy jungle, as that's going to miss, but Koshik was pretty far away regardless. As, he's like, please skill your ultimate. Okay, there it is, and
he pressed R.
He did, he pressed R.
And then Showmaker pressed R in response. Showmaker pressed Control R first, of course.
Yes.
And this is, every time we watch this, I'm like, ooh, man, Year of Doodoo may have been a little overstated. I'm being a bit facetious
still early.
Because he's playing. It's still early, but like he is playing Sion into Gwen as well. So I don't know if that's about Doodoo or about the matchup. But she was having a good time, as he should.
Yeah, I'd say the issue is not Doodoo. It's more like you're giving Xiu a free lane, and I think that's always a mistake. Like, this is the guy that will make your life hell from the top lane.
I look at the draft of D+, and even though it's somewhat uncharted territory with this Echo, and Xin Zhao is a little bit weaker, it has moving parts that we understand. We know how this draft should function, right? When you look at the draft of DNS, you're like, I'm not really sure what the game plan is. Is it a front-to-back with Ashe, but also it has single-target blow-up? I guess it's a pick comp with Ashe, and she'll scale, and it's just so slow and clunky. And D+ are making proactive moves. I mean, Proshik has made insanely proactive moves to try to control this early game, but you keep wondering, is it going to be enough, and will this Gwen ever be conquerable in sides? Starts to really feel like the answer to that is likely going to be a resounding no as this game goes on. The Echo also going to be another issue to solve in sides as well.
I just think they don't really have an answer for the Gwen, and the fact that she is immune. The Syndra's not really going to be able to keep her at bay. She can decide whether Ashe can do that. And then, of course, the Sion just gets shredded down, and she can dash over the Cataclysm. There's really not a good answer once we get into team fights, especially if he gets a good flank with how fed he is already. Looks like he finally went for a back, finished that Riftmaker.
Showmaker is ready to start hitting turrets in the side lane. We'll get that first proc of the Crystalline Overgrowth, take out another plate, back off. Bit of a fight for vision here on the topside river, which DNS have a ton of control over. They also have Closer up here. TP will come through from Showmaker after he picks up his Merc Treads. This quest completed now. Very incredibly strong item, by the way, on this patch.
Yeah, upgraded Merc Treads. Pretty good stuff. And see how we've kind of quieted down outside of the two Pyosik ganks. We do have the Rift Herald spawning now, so maybe both teams will have a crack at that. Pyosik got to be careful, especially around the Rakan, as Showmaker nearby can do an immense amount of damage. And yeah, not starting up the Rift Herald, but showing a lot of presence on the top side of the map.
Ooh, life caught.
Yeah, they're going to go in onto this one. The knockup comes in. They don't have a ton of damage, but eventually Life is going to have to do something as in goes Pyosik. The turnaround goes in on the Lucid. They finally get the flash out of the Braum. As we got a 1v1 up on the top side, 1v1 on the bottom side, as Smash is trying to just keep Duck Dom at bay, and he should be able to do that. It looks like Pyosik gets away with the flag and drag, but a lot worse for Wear, as he is pretty low, and that just means Lucid gets the free objective.
Yeah, I mean, that was so non-committal for D+. They're like, all right, we caught Life by using basic abilities. Duck Dom tries to peel with his arrow, can't really get access in. They don't have control of the top side either. And finally, Life is just like, all right, I'm using my sums, I'm out of here. And that means a free Herald does go over, as you say. Closer can't really do anything here. You're going to look for a scatter as a consolation prize.
Well, you got Duck Dom trying to make things interesting into Career, but Career has a jump path out of there through the Varus. And we didn't take much of a look at the bottom lane, but we all know how that one's going. So just maintaining about a 35 CS lead down there.
Imagine we're going to start to see components for Nashor's Tooth coming in second here, as he does pick up a Dark Seal as well on this back. Riftmaker first, so nothing too crazy thus far for this Gwen. And that top lane turret, not long for this world, and you can see the answer for Closer in this bottom lane for Showmaker isn't there yet. He's got that home guard push, and this turret might just be gone. They have to send two people down to defend. And they don't have control really anywhere on the map. You can see, like, in mid, there's a small modicum of control. Showmaker plays this safe, scouts Pioshik, pushes him out.
Oh, they're just going to turn on the life here in transition. He doesn't have any sums, as you talked about in the last fight, and that's just going to be given over to Smash. So not sure exactly how they got caught there. It looks like he put down a control ward, and they just got jumped. So got to be careful where you're walking with no sums life. Otherwise, that will happen, and that's just going to mean kind of another just free objective given over to D+Kia.
Yeah, and Pioshik, I mean, he wanted to try to make something happen to Showmaker. He's unable to do so. Showmaker still has free reign down here. He's even going to commit his ult.
Yeah, just going in for the extra amount of harass, essentially. Trying to land that ult, just barely not able to.
I mean, look at the mid lane, too. Like, Duckdom isn't there. He's using his arrow here to try to hit Showmaker. Not going to succeed. And now, like, they're going to basically lose a turret in the top side for free, Dragon, and Smash has full control over mid, and the jungle is being taken away by Lucid. Like, D+ have a stranglehold on DNS, and it feels like it just happened suddenly. You know, as these really strong pushing champions start to get their items online, the tier 3 boots for Showmaker makes it so difficult for Syndra to harass at this stage, doesn't have full splinters. The Gwen, that's such a problem in sides. And they're just kind of taking those pressure points and applying them. This is what happened to Life just moments before, too far forward here without summoners. He's Braum, but, I mean, they just don't have... It's a numbers game they can't win, with Showmaker having control of the bottom side that entire time. And Pioshik was trying to help defend there, wasn't there to peel or help out, and maybe would just ask for a little more caution for Life, I guess, is the end result. But you can see the snowball effect of this is quite significant.
Showmaker just picks up that late red buff. That was taken by Lucid. We did see the difference in levels between our junglers, as Lucid had about a level and a half, you could see, based on the XP bars there on our great UI. And, you know, Pioshik got a couple of really nice ganks, and he got this Ashe ahead. But what did it amount to? He got himself ahead in terms of kills as well, but just hasn't been able to farm quite as much, and has fallen behind pretty significantly in levels and in farm.
Yeah, I mean, at least Career didn't steal his scuttle crab away. I nearly did. Yeah, I mean, this Jarvan is a strong engaged tool, but there are too many threats. Who do you catch? If you don't have map control,
is Varus.
Yeah, and like, if Varus has flash, good luck with that anyways, while there are other big carries that you have to deal with. And Mikhail's means that the lack of cleanse here for Smash means very little. If he ends up getting caught by a stray arrow, I don't think he's too worried about it, as long as Career's got the bell at the ready.
Trying to get an angle here on a Life once again, who this time is Braum, and it does matter. As now the engage comes in, catches Toon as Career, it's beautiful, they get Duckdom. As Career comes out of basically nowhere. I thought they knew he was there, but Career with the very quick engage was just too much for them to handle.
I thought this was going to be a fun game where Showmaker has a lot of fun with Echo, Valdez.
None of that.
The most fun part was when he had to press Control R and then press R and avoid Syndra's ult damage. And that was it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he practically could have been playing anything in this game. Let's the Lucid show.
And Pioshik just trying to stick around to defend the turret, was never going to be able to. And yeah, I guess he cleared the wave, but he also cleared his own health bar by sticking around, as Lucid had a big smile, Pioshik a big grimace after that one. And there really hasn't been a lot of, you know, game-turning moments in this one.
I mean, D+ have so much control over the map. This
7K gold.
This comp has to function around like CC into CC into CC to win. And when you have no map control, you can't see where to set up that CC chain. You can't team fight. You can't even exist on the map, really. As between Lucid and this engage from Career, can't even be near your mid turret. And we're too far away, I suppose. The engage is so real, it's so strong here for this D+ comp, and it's starting to feel like DNS are never going to get a 5v5 fight for this Ashe that does have 2 items, I suppose.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen. And we also saw there a good example of how much Braum can struggle into Rakan, where you're just kind of standing there and accepting the brunt of the damage and no way to avoid it. And you're not protecting your AD carry either, because you just kind of get grouped up in the charm and you don't end up doing all too much. As they're trying to get on top of Career here, I guess. But that's not going to happen. We've already figured that out.
Shadow Flame for Showmaker. You know, he broke the Merc Tread shield. I want to see more Echo gameplay. He got the stun. It was cool.
Yeah.
And then he broke the shield, and we go back to watching where things are more relevant elsewhere.
And, I mean, they are relevant over here, but at the same time, it just feels like kind of beating a dead horse at this time without actually getting any kills. And it's just kind of exerting all that map control that you have and not allowing your opponents to play the game and just suffocating them. Did a bit of damage there, okay. Smash is also going to be forced to flash away. As in comes Lucid, and in comes Career, and Life is like, well, I guess I'll try my best. There's the charm, as DuckDump's doing a lot of damage to him, but Career does get away, and now we got a TP coming in. Lucid has to go forward, as the ult is insane, pushes 2 back, and now Showmaker comes over, and Lucid is unkillable with the Sundered Sky, and now we see what a 5v5 looks like when everybody on DK comes on over. As Shiyu gets the angle, hits the needles on a closer who is playing Syndra into Echo and Gwen. The least fun you could ever have as a Syndra.
Yeah, this draft really just did not work out for DNS, and I think that was probably the back-breaking moment here in this game. They're not going to be able to kill the Nexus off of it, but they'll get Baron. They'll take this 8,000 gold lead and send it to the moon. As, remember, you mentioned there's only one person you can really get. It's the Varus, but he has Flash. He waits to use his flash, baits them in further, then the rotation comes over, and then watch this from Lucid. God, the guy is definitely POM, like no question in this one. Just goes to the other side, gets the double knockback. DuckDom can't kill him. Then Closer gets the kill onto Career, but he's actually used his ultimate that way, and then the collapse of everyone else comes in, and it's just a well-oiled machine the way the rest of this team fight plays out. Like Shiyu's just chasing down, gets the turn onto Closer here. Snipe comes through from Smash. And D+ will take no prisoners.
Yeah, they definitely didn't. We got to see a little bit of burst out of the Echo in that fight that you were asking for, Wolf, and it was on to the Ashe, who didn't have Flash and had like 30% health. But that 30% went away very quickly, actually all at once, to the Echo. And especially with the double flank coming in from the solo laners was really just impossible to deal with when you're playing Ashe, Syndra.
And you know what, Rakan? He's bandle piping. Just wanted to mention it.
Yeah, he's doing a little bandle piping. As the Cataclysm is going to stop Dudu from getting in, Showmaker is still playing Echo and still not going to be punished there as when becomes Lightning in on a Closer and he is down. And the follow-up with a change from max range from downtown. Smash going to hit it. And this is where DK just kind of turned into the Harlem Globetrotters, and they just begin to really make their opponents look silly. As in they go, DuckDom, they're sending everything in the kitchen sink beyond that one. As Life and Dudu, they did their best, but their best was definitely not enough. As the first game was 25 minutes, it looks like this one will be very slightly longer, but it's still just as dominant. As there you have it, D+ Kia will be taking the 2-0 here tonight over the DN Supers.
Pick it up right where they left off at Kesbrook up right where they left off against Bro. This team incredibly dominant, just like we saw at the beginning of 2025. A 4-0 start here. And Showmaker the leader, but today, Lucid was the main character. So piece of Summoner's Rift that belonged to them. Pretty good game here for Career as well.
Yeah, the Rakan looks solid. Really not too many notes on that one. Maybe slightly better laning could have been achieved, but his team fighting was insane. And yeah, that Chains of Corruption also was kind of crazy. They're calling for the dive here. On to DuckDom, saying he has no flash. Get him, he says. And unfortunately, the Year of Dudu once again put on hold.
Yeah, I mean,
Still January.
Odin, come on, it's Year of Dudu. Let's not blind Sion in this meta.
Yeah.
Well, all right.
They're arguing about Jarvan. And Career's like, hey, stop arguing.
Well, I think that for those of you guys who couldn't understand, or maybe who just could hear the tone of the voice, D+ did not really feel like that was a celebration-worthy win. They were just teasing and taunting each other essentially at the end, rather than you know, feeling like they accomplished much. As it was again a pretty one-sided affair here. Things could have gone a little bit differently, right? In the early game, maybe they get the kill on the smash, just a little bit more damage goes through and the whole game looks different, right? But it just did not come to pass. And 2 games in a row where Pyrgic has a solid pick, a solid idea, but it just does not come together here for DNS. And I think composition-wise, they're going to have to go back to the drawing board. This is well-deserved.
Yeah, not much else you can say, especially as Ambessa hit that Eclipse spike very quickly, was always ahead on farm. Pyrgic had some nice ganks, but Lucid ended up being the better jungler in both of the games.